Mommy, mommy, wait, please.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to everyone. Thank
Good
you all for
morning.
joining in very early.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you, thank you. You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
you're welcome. So we just have to wait for some minutes, maybe about 5 minutes, so that others can join and we can have more people in the room and then we commence. So thank you again for joining in. So let's give it some minutes and then we can commence in full. Thank you.
So that one is too bad.
So good morning to everyone. Welcome to the first webinar of this kind, being hosted by the Computational Center of Computational Science. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome.
Mommy, no battery. Mommy, no battery.
Please pardon me if you hear the sound of my child in the background. Just pardon me, okay? So anyway, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Yeah, my name is Omamu Yowirita Jolayemi, and I work at Convenant University. So the CCS webinar series is not just limited to universities, to a particular university. It's an interdenominational event, and I'm glad to be a part of the host today. I am so happy with the number of people we have seen and also with the number of people that registered for this program. And we are still expecting a number of people because we had a large number of people that registered. We have 14 people in the room now, but we're expecting more and more of them to join in as we proceed in the meeting. So the agenda for today's webinar is the first of its kind. So you can also send messages on the chat room. Be comfortable. Yes, it's not so very formal. It's a room for us to learn. So be comfortable. You can send messages on the chats and they can be read by moderators, and also we can also channel to the presenter. So in very shortly, we'll be starting with the presentation, and it's just going to be for a few hours. By 12, we should be done. But I know that it promises to be very impactful, especially for people who are interested in materials. So let's say in a few minutes, we'll start the presentation, and we'll get some information from some of the sponsors, which is FET, and then we'll have a bit of hands-on, and then we'll also give room for remarks and questions. I'm sure when you register for this conference, or this webinar, you got some information about downloading certain things on your laptop. If you have done that, that's excellent. Well done. You are ready. But if you haven't, it's not really bad. But then you still have to do that. It's quite like Quantum Mobile is a very large package. It's about 5 gigs. So it was actually advised to do that before the webinar. Anyway, so we move on. Pardon me, I'm behind the camera, but like I said, be comfortable, be very, very comfortable. So we're diving into the workshop in proper because we want to keep with time and we respect people's time. My name is Omamu Yowirita Jolayemi. I'm a lecturer in Convenant University, but we have people from all over, in this room, from Edo State, from outside Nigeria, and we thank God for this opportunity. So I'm going to read the citation of our prof, who is going to be speaking to us and teaching us. I've known Prof for a long time. Prof is a teacher, is a mentor indeed, and is the one that can actually push you to the edge to get the best out of you. So we are privileged to have him here, and we believe that we're going to learn. What we are going to learn from this webinar is going to live with us for a very long time. And I also believe that we would also pass on this knowledge to our students. Yes, we will also pass on this knowledge to our students. So Professor Akinola Samson Olayinka is a renowned figure in the world of computational and applied physics. Is actually a shining star in computational physics. So is leaving an indelible mark through the dedication to academic excellence. I must mention here that I personally use FET simulations in my lectures in Covenant University. And guess who introduced it to me? Professor Olayinka introduced it. I tell you, it's actually an amazing experience. So, like I said, you are in for the best time. So, Professor Olayinka he has an academic pedigree and that is very impressive. It's complete in a PhD in physics from University of Benin. His expertise extends beyond condensed matter physics and computational science. Wow. He's currently the prestigious position, a professor in computational and applied physics at Edo State University. Beyond the walls of academics, Professor Olayinka commits to impactful research, shines through his leadership of the Science for Computational, the Center for Computational Science, which is actually hosting this webinar. And he has global collaborators from the US and from Europe. Professor Olayinka is dedicated. His dedication is actually beyond research and is actually contributing to community development. This is actually driven to develop our community, particularly in Nigeria. So, pardon me, Professor Olayinka is actually experienced and he has further underscored his global impact. So there are a lot to read about him. Professor Olayinka is recognized through numerous accolades, including commendation from PhET, interaction simulation. Is the lead speaker. He has gotten a lead speaker award and prestigious grants. His prolific contribution spans over 80 publications in esteemed journals and book chapters, including groundbreaking works like modeling grinding process as micro machine operations and valuable resources for students like the General Physics Laboratory Manual with simulation. So in conclusion, Professor Akinola Samson Olayinka is more than just a distinguished scholar, is an architect of intellectual excellence and a champion of knowledge accessibility. His unwavering dedication to research, leadership, and community service serves as an inspiration to scholars and students worldwide, leaving a legacy that will continue to inspire further generation. So without much ado, I want to introduce, I've read about the citation of Professor Olayinka, and I'll give room for him to take over the webinar. Don't forget, if you have questions, you don't have to wait to the end of the webinar before you drop your questions. You can do that in the chat. Thank you again and welcome to the webinar.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rita, and I'm glad to be here this morning. I welcome our esteemed participants. I really want to appreciate every one of us for finding time to join this webinar. And as mentioned by Dr. Rita, it's going to be a very, very educative experience for each and every one of us, including the presenter, because I believe in such a gathering as this, we have a lot to learn from one another. So welcome, and thank you, Dr. Rita, for that wonderful citation. I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you so much, and I'm humbled as well. I would like to share my screen. Can we see my screen? Please, if you can see my screen, you can just give me a thumb up so that I'll be sure I'm with you. And am I audible enough? Please also give me a thumb up if that works. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. As mentioned earlier,
yes, you are audible, bro.
I'm Olayinka, and it's my pleasure to be speaking to every one of us this morning. Before I go into what we have to discuss this morning, I want every one of us to actually be relaxed And then let's have it in mind that we are here to rub minds together and learn from one another. When it comes to computational research, it's something that has come to stay. And I've discovered that there's really nothing we as individuals can do to stop it. The best bet for us is to see how we can actually fit to this development and then enhance our capacity and become better scientists and better researchers in our various fields of domain. And so, having said that, so let's be in a relaxed atmosphere and every form of phobia that some of us might have as to how computer works. So I'm finding it difficult to even handle ordinary Microsoft Word. How do I now get into coding? How do I get into things that have to do with programming? I can assure you that it is as easy as ABC, provided you have put your mind on it to achieve. And that is the essence of having this platform, Center for Computational Science. Center for Computational Science is limited and guaranteed by the government of Nigeria, and the sole aim is to promote research, is to promote education by the use of computational tools. And I'm glad that we are doing the first of this webinar series today. And there is also a platform that will also give us an opportunity to actually mentor and also provide mentorship. What I mean, for those of us who are senior academics, your role in this platform is very, very essential. And those of us who are also just coming, our roles are also very essential. We have mentor-mentee partnerships, and all this by the time we are able to harness it, I can assure you that each and every one of us will turn out to become scientists that we ourselves will be proud of. So,
Excuse me, Prof.
I'll be discussing is the hands-on computational method, and then we are focusing today on the virtual machines and Linux basics. Now, the whole idea here is
Prof, sir.
how do I set up? How do I
Prof,
set
sir.
up? Yes.
Excuse me.
Sorry. Yeah, I think the audio is not so good from the receivers, so there's a bit of complaint that the audio is not so excellent.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Let me check my audio, please. Is my audio better now? Is it better now?
please, can we get responses depending on how we perceive the audio from our end?
Yes.
Yes, I think it's better than before.
Okay.
Is it better now?
Much better. It's better now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, from this side, it's better.
Yeah, it's okay now. It's okay.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Okay, so we're looking at hands-on computational methods, and then the whole idea is to see how we can set up a virtual machine and understanding of basics for us to be able to set up a working environment on a system. Yes, we are aware that majority of us in this part of the world, we have phobia for maybe Linux. So most people are actually working on Windows. And thanks for the development in technology that has brought about what is now known as virtual machine. So a very quick one. Let me find out how many of us have been able to download the Quantum Mobile and the virtual bot shared with us. I think we can quickly just respond, maybe in the chat with yes or no. If you have downloaded it, yes. If you have not downloaded, no. And let's see what that looks like to be able to know how we need to proceed from here. Like I promised, I said it's going to be hands-on. I'm waiting for yes and no on the chat. Okay, I have yes, good. Yes, please, more response. If you have not downloaded, please, let's see your no. Okay, I have no again. Okay. yes, but no password. Okay, that will be resolved. No problem. Downloaded one. Okay. Still downloading. Okay, beautiful. Yes. Okay. No, no. Okay, we have a few persons who have not downloaded. And I believe you can also see my share screen, right? You can just respond if you can see my share screen. Okay, downloading now. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, keep it. Now, okay, let's quickly go on. Now, before I will go into the presentation, let's quickly see how we need to go about it. So for those who have not been able to download, you can simply go and download this. I quickly put this here. We have shared this information earlier. There is need to download the VirtualBox. VirtualBox is provided by Oracle, and so it's free, an open source virtual machine platform that can be used. Okay, so I have the link here. So clicking any of these two links will give you the opportunity to be able to download that. So this one is not so large, so it can be downloaded within a few minutes if your network is fine at your hand. Okay, you can just access this link also in your email. It's part of the email sent to you this morning as well. Okay, then next, Quantum Mobile. Now, we sent a link for three different versions. Okay, the very first one is the official one, which is large, so you may not download it now. So maybe at your leisure, you can also try your hand on it and see the features it has. Okay. Now, this is also very large. This was actually specially compiled for a specific event, and it's robust, 9 gig. Okay. Then this particular one now, which is the minimum, it has the minimum size out of 43, is the one I will encourage us to see how we can actually download it. And I think anybody who has this link for the third one, Quantum Mobile Minimum Installation 2021, let's download this while this meeting is going on. So while I'm doing the presentation, the download can be going on at the background for those who have not been able to download. Okay, so to be able to download this, you can click. Okay, I think it's better to download it through a download manager. Okay, so first of all, download the download manager, free download manager. Once you download that, install. After installing, then you can copy any of these two links and then paste it. Now the password and the username to access this particular one, because it's specially compiled for particular in 2021, the Quantum Express 2. Okay, so the username and the password to access it after it has been installed. You will see us installing it today. The username is user, while the password is one letter TV 2021. Okay, so let's now go on. Then I need to also mention this. I need to mention this because I know some of us at the end of the day might not be able to get it working while we are here for one reason or the other. Now, in case after you've been able to go through the process we will go through in the course of installing a virtual machine, and you try to launch it and you are getting certain errors, sometimes it might be as a result of setting in your BIOS. Okay, and so there's need to restart the system. And when your system is coming up, you press different options that will take you to your BIOS setup. Okay, the BIOS setup is maybe some system will give you S10, you will see the BIOS option, maybe F9, F10, or F11, depending on the system you're using. Okay, and then once you're able to access that, flip through the tab, you will see a place under the system where you can actually activate virtualization. So it is better to check these two, the virtualization options. It's better to just check the two, and once the two are checked and you save and go back, you should be able to run any of the installed, any of the imported virtual machine on your system. Okay. Now, very quickly, let's do an icebreaker before we go into the lecture. And I believe you're ready. Can you quickly think back and then think of the first time you ever used either a Linux or a virtual machine. Just a quick flashback, okay? What was it like? What was the experience like? Was it an excited one? Or was it a form of confusion or something else? And even for those who have not used Linux before, can you also share some of your experience on what you hope to learn in this place? Okay. Can I share this for us to complete? Let me quickly share this for us to complete for just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. So I'm sharing a poll with 2 questions for you to respond to. Yes. You have the poll already, so you can respond. Okay. Okay. With what I'm saying. Okay. 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 So we have about 50% of people. Yeah, we have about 50% who have used virtual machine before and 50% who have not used virtual machine before as of now. Okay. Then we have 6% of us who is not sure. Okay. Then Quantum Espresso user, we have 63% users here, and then we have 38% non-user as of now. The beauty of it is that we have a balanced statistics, and then there's an opportunity for us to actually, like I said earlier, to learn from one another. Okay. Okay. So quickly, let's move on now. I can share the results with you so that you have a look at it. Can you see the results? That's the result of the poll we have. Okay. Okay, so let's continue here now. Now, computational method. What is computational method and why is it so very important in this stage, in this present dispensation? You will all agree with me that the 21st century education is completely different from what used to be the conventional way of education. And the implication of this is this. Is I'm going to fit in as an educator or as a researcher in the 21st century domain of academic and research delivery. There is need for me to also embrace computational methods. The fact remains that AI has come to change almost everything. And the development in that domain only is changing how new materials are being discovered, is changing how new drugs are being discovered, is changing how research is being done across all domain of human endeavor. I mean, including anything you can think of. So machine learning has come, it has become a tool that is relevant in every sector of human endeavor. And so for those of us who claim we are in science domain, we have a very huge responsibility on us to actually embrace computational methods and see it as a tool to drive development, to drive innovation, and to also promote societal good. What do I mean by that? If people in humanity are struggling, are trying their best to see how they can lay their hands on computational methods and embrace it to enhance their research, then those of us who are in the main domain of this research, we have a responsibility. We have a duty to ensure that we update the knowledge, to ensure that we acquire the necessary skills for us to be able to actually develop and then come up with concepts that can harness the power of computational methods and then use it to actually change the way things are done in a domain. You will agree with me that in this part of the world, African generally, we discover there are so many problems that are clamoring for solutions. There is need for better materials that can store energy. There is need for better materials that can trap photons from the solar energy. There are needs for discovery of better drugs to address various issues, and computation method has actually come to bridge the gap for us to be able to achieve this rapidly and faster than we can ever imagine. And so when we talk about fields like computational biology, computational neuroscience, computational biochemistry, computational chemistry, all these fields are still very unpopular in our clients as of now. Most universities, even the bigger universities, don't have researchers running in this domain. And that is actually the direction the world is going by leveraging on computational methods to actually address societal challenges. And so I have the following as part of the things I will be talking about. I will be introducing the lecture which I've just done. Then I'll also be talking about the virtual machine. I will be talking about Linux briefly. How do we set up a virtual machine? We'll look at quantum mobile in particular, what it is, and what can we gain from it? How can we deploy it and how can we use it? And we also look at quantum mobile interfaces, then we go to hands-on session. Now, what are the importance of computational methods? Okay, in research, it provides efficiency and speed. Recently, myself and one of my research partners were talking, and I just told him about a work I just did. What was the work all about? I tried to create a machine learning model, and in that model, we're able to predict the thermoelectric properties of the material. And then while she was talking, she said, "Oh, okay, it would be a good idea that we pick the material that have better thermoelectric properties of merit that is of experimental interest. If you pick that material and let's try to use ab initio method to study the material and verify what the machine learning is doing." The beauty of machine learning is that rather than for you to work with a single material like is done conventionally in experimental work, where you have to work with one material at a time, or maybe in ab initio method when you have to work with each material at a time. In the case of machine learning, that's deploying AI to actually address this type of research. You can actually predict properties of hundreds or even thousands of materials of different compositions just on the click of a button. And I believe that is something that computational methods has actually provided. Efficiency and speed. And then a complex problem can actually be solved with ease in terms of research. Okay. For instance, if I want to work maybe using ab initio method and I want to consider a material, for instance, maybe I want to consider the effect of a doping, doping using nitrogen to dope a titanium dioxide, for instance. Okay, and then probably I can only dope with one concentration at once. Okay, however, if I deploy computational method with the advantages of even automation that is available in computational method, I can address complex problems and achieve those things faster. Data analysis, of course, reproducibility, interdisciplinary applications. Gone are the days when you are only limited to your domain of research only. The world has gone beyond where some of us are and what we are thinking about. Sometimes ago, I was privileged to be in South Africa in a computational neuroscience training that only lasted for about a month. It was fully sponsored by Hebrew. Now, what do I discover and notice in that place? My discovery is that people who are now professors, renowned professors of computational neuroscience, majority of them have their first degree either in physics or biology or even chemistry. And so people from different domains choose to specialize in that area. If I have to mention him, I can mention of people like Larry Abbott. He's a professor who was a professor first of all in physics before he eventually switched to computational neuroscience. We have another professor like Tim Vogel. We have so many of them. Okay, now this is the beauty of interdisciplinary or what we call multidisciplinary approach to research. Computational method gives the opportunity and is something that we need to explore. What about education? Of course, computational method enhances learning, it improves skills, it gives accessibility to what ordinarily you may not be able to access in normal domains. For instance, Dr. Rita was talking about how she has been able to use PET simulation in her classes, and the experience was awesome for students. Of course, I had a similar experience with PET too, and several other virtual experiment tools. These are computational method and things that can actually also drive education. Critical thinking, of course, this is encouraged in students who have access to computational methods, and then preparation for research. Every education is meant to be geared towards research. And research on its own is actually meant to be targeted towards solving societal problems. And so, if you think of education, we shouldn't think of it as an isolated domain. Rather, when you're thinking of education, think of how you can bring research into it. And when you bring research into it, when you're thinking of research, think of something that can offer solutions to societal problems. We have the problem of pollution, we have problem of energy, we have problems are everywhere. Problem of even environmental degradation and the rest of them. All these are things we can do from the computational method approach. Now, let's talk about virtual machine. What is a virtual machine? Let me first of all define what I mean by a machine in the context of this discussion, okay? Your laptop is a machine, okay? So when you hear the word machine, your laptop, your desktop, your workstation, they are computer machines, okay? And so when we now talk about virtual machine, we're talking about a software-based emulation of a physical computer. Now, I know most of us who are on this platform, we have a laptop, okay? And the beauty of your laptop is that you can do whatever you want to do with it and work with it the way it is, okay? Now, a virtual machine will provide something that looks like your own computer for you, okay? But this time around is a virtual system, not a physical one like the one you have physically. And so, for instance, you have a computer with you that is running Windows 10 or Windows 11 as the case may be, okay? That is your physical computer, physical machine, okay? Now, on that same, with the help of virtual machine software installed, then you can have the opportunity of running several other operating systems like Linux, like Solaris, and so on and so forth. That is the beauty of virtual machine. So it's a software-based emulation of a physical system, and it provides avenue to run operating system and applications in an isolated environment on an existing physical hardware. Remember, your physical hardware is just one, and being just one, you can only run one thing at a time on it, one OS on it at a time, okay? But with the help of virtual machine, meaning you can run several operating systems simultaneously, as we will see shortly. It provides a flexible, efficient, and secure way to run multiple operating system applications on a single physical machine. And virtual machines are powerful tools in both computing and research. It's actually the way to go for you to be able to maximize your system. Now, virtual machine provides opportunity for isolation and portability. Now, what do I mean by isolation? Meaning, if you're working on your Windows, for instance, as the main operating system, everything you are doing on your Windows system is completely isolated from whatever you are doing on your virtual machine. Okay? And the beauty of that is there is no form of interference. So it can help you when you are developing a new system, for instance, or you are testing, or you actually need a production environment. It's very relevant in that. And with increasing demand for scalable and cost-effective computing solutions, of course, virtual machine has come to stay, and it's something that will continue to evolve in the IT industry for the years to come. And so we need to enhance our skills in this very important tool and see how we can actually use it to add value to ourselves. Now, what are the features of the virtual machine or virtual machine generally? Of course, emulation of physical hardware. I've talked about that. I've also talked about isolation. Now, the hypervisor is the software layer that creates and manages virtual machines. Hypervisor is the software layer that does what? That creates and at the same time manages virtual machines. Okay? Now, what does this do basically? This is actually where you have the virtual layer. Okay? Now, there are two types of hypervisor that you have in general category. The first one is called type 1, which is bare metal, and this runs directly on the host hardware. Okay? If you are using type 1, for instance, this one is running directly on the host hardware. Let me quickly mention, your computer system, your machine, your laptop is actually made of both the hardware and software. Okay? If I'm going to be mentioning the hardware, I'm going to be talking about the type of processor you have. There may be an Intel processor or an AMD processor, as the case may be. Okay? Then the software part is the operating system. Okay? And so the type 1 hypervisor runs directly on the hardware. Okay? And we have the examples like VMware, the commercial software. We have the
So sorry about the network interruption from Professor Lainka. I think he's back online now. Prof, please, can you unmute yourself so we can hear you?
Okay. Hope I wasn't on offline for too long.
Not really, not really. So you were talking about hardwares and the VMware.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that network issue. Thank you so much. Okay, so now looking at the difference between the two hypervisors. So we have type 1 and type 2. Why type 1 is the one that runs directly on the hardware. Type 2 runs on the operating system. And then the common example of that is the Oracle version, which is the free version provided by Oracle that we'll be using in this particular course. Okay? Now, looking at the figure by the left here, we can actually see what the virtual machine looks like. Okay? I have the infrastructure. I'm talking about my hardware as the case may be. And above it, I have my hypervisor. The hypervisor can be type 1 or type 2, either the one that runs directly on the hardware or the one that runs on the operating system, depending on it. Then you then have this virtual machine A, virtual machine B, virtual machine 3, with their own different operating system. So if I'm using type 2 here, for instance, meaning I have maybe Windows OS here, okay? Then I can have Solaris here, I can have whatever here. So this is how it looks like. And what are the benefits? Of course, it gives room for resource efficiency. It also gives room to flexibility and portability. It saves cost, okay? Rather than for you to have 2 or 3 laptops, one running Linux because you must run a terminal work, then you need to run, so it saves cost. Then testing and development is very useful in that area. Now, it also gives opportunity to be able to run old or legacy applications. For instance, maybe you have a software or a code you created so many years ago, maybe during your undergraduate days. and you're thinking that particular code was just run on the Windows 7. No, Windows 7 is even very recent. Maybe on what do you call it now? Maybe on Visual Basic. Okay, that code was written on Visual Basic. Visual Basic cannot fly on any of the recent OS. No, not Visual Basic, please. Basic, the common Basic, the core Basic. Okay, and so those are outdated legacy applications, and you need them. Then what can you do? You can actually create a virtual environment and install the virtual, maybe Windows 95 operating system. And then you can then run your basic program on it. So that provision is there for you to be able to run legacy applications. And then the security, of course. Now, whatever is being done in a particular virtual environment has no connection with the main environment. Okay? Whatever I'm doing in the virtual environment is just within that environment. It cannot affect whatever I'm doing on the main system. And so that also gives the advantage. For people in computer science, maybe you want to do a penetration test, for instance, okay? You might not want to deploy that on your main system. So if you're in a virtual environment, you have the opportunity of doing whatever you can do there. Examples of virtual machines I've mentioned. Oracle VirtualBox is the one we are using. It's free open source and it can be deployed on Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and Solaris. We have the VMware Workstation. This is a commercial software. You need to pay for you to get the license. You have the Microsoft Hyper-V is built into Windows operating system. Then we have this particular one is the one that gives you the opportunity to be able to run what is called a WSLOS. That is a Windows system Linux, okay? And then you also have the parallel desktop, mainly used for running Windows applications on Mac OS. Let's go to Linux very quickly. Linux is a concept created by the man named Linus Torvalds, okay? And he actually created the code in the year 1991. And ever since that time, a lot has taken place after the development. So we now have so many branches of operating systems that are Linux based, okay? Linux consists of the kernel, which is referred to as the core of the OS, and then it contains the system library, the utilities, and the user space program, okay? The kernel manages the hardware, the resources, and provides essential services to other parts. We have examples like Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, CentOS, and the rest of them. These are examples of Linux variants. And then each and every one of them, they provide different levels of support, okay? If you get some Linux, Ubuntu, for instance, a variant, you will see the one that is always labeled LTS. It means that particular version provides long-term support. And when you are downloading, for instance, Ubuntu, it is better to go for short, okay? Now, importance of Linux in computational method, okay? The beauty of it is that it is open source. You don't have to pay for it, okay? The cost of paying for licenses is quite enormous. Ordinary Microsoft Word, if you want to buy a license, some of us might have the idea of what it costs. So it's not something that is easily avoidable, especially for people in this part of the world where the economy is completely different from what is obtainable in other clients, okay? Stability and reliability, of course, it is stable and reliable for running long-term computational tasks and simulation without crashes or interruptions, okay? That is the beauty of it. If it is a window platform, of course, definitely, you know, there are limitations to that, okay? In terms of performance, of course, it's highly efficient in managing system resources, and then a compatibility. Linux supports a wide range of scientific software and tools, including high performance computing. So if you need to work on a cluster, you need to work on a remote computing resources, of course, Linux is the best way to go. Is that okay? If you must work on a window, then you will definitely need something that will interface with the command line that you need to interact with. Okay. Then if you need to also do cloud-based computational activity, definitely you also need Linux to be able to achieve all that. Okay. In terms of security, Linux provides secure environment for you to work. Okay. In fact, it's not actually the target of most people who develop some of these malware and then program that of questionable identity. So the key features of using Linux, command line interface. So please, if you have phobia for command line, please let that phobia be gone. It's just a matter of learning one thing at a time. I know most of us are used to working with graphical user interface, but I can assure you that you will have a pleasant experience if you can just be patient and follow it through. And then in terms of package management, with the use of app, human, then a Pacman, you can easily install software across different Linux platforms, multitasking and multi-user capability. With the help of tools like MPISX, you can run multiple tasks and then actually even share computational resources. For some of us, we have access to various supercomputers in different parts of the world. Okay, we access those systems that have been partitioned to be shared among several users globally. Okay, and so it's just a matter of me accessing that system, and then I can work while someone else accessing the same facility from another part of the world can also be doing this or a job the same time I'm doing my homework. So Linux provides that feature, flexibility and customizability. Okay, it can actually be tailored to your specific needs. In fact, if you are the one who is interested, you can actually even develop your own variant of Linux. Okay, then a community support. It has a very large and active community support. Okay, you have a lot of developers who are contributing to documentation, to forum, and to support network to provide solutions in case you have any issues. Okay, and in terms of cost, Linux is free, and so the cost of licensing software is actually reduced to the barest minimum when you use that. Now, let's quickly look at some of these. I'll quickly run through this because these ones are just our reference to now. Maybe in the course of hands-on, we can try our hands on it. For instance, if you need to navigate around your Linux platform, you will always make use of lib. You will make use of pwd. Pwd is saying print working directory. pwd, print working directory. What will it do? It will show you the location where you are on the terminal at the moment. For instance, if you're working on Windows, you double click my computer. It opens and it will show you the number of partitions of drive you have in your system. Usually you have your C as the main one, and then maybe followed by maybe B as the case may be. Okay, and then if you click user, you can then see that you will have C//, then you will have user. Okay, then you can choose your username. That is the working directory. The address is always there. If you're also working in Windows system, okay, the address is always there. And so in Linux terminal, you can print the working directory where you are, you will see the full path. Okay. ls, if you type ls, you're actually listing the content of the current directory. The content of the current directory. Okay. cd is for you to change from one directory to another. That is cd space, then you will specify the directory you want to go to. Okay. And then the cd dot will move you up by one directory. That is like going back, like back in your Windows navigation. Okay. In terms of file and directory, you have source, you have mk directory. That is to create a new directory. Directory in Linux refer to as folders that you are familiar with in Windows. Okay. When you talk of folders in Windows, then we talk about directory in Linux. So if you need to create a new folder, we call it create a new directory in Linux environment, and we use mkdir. For instance, in my present working directory, if I want to create a directory that I want to name Olayinka, I will simply type mkdir, then I will leave space and I will type Olayinka, and I will press enter. And if you try to list the content of the directory, you will see that a folder has been created by that name. The directory has been created by that name. Okay. CP is to copy. To copy file from one place to the other. You specify the source and destination. You want to move a file from one place to the other. You want to remove a file. You want to remove a directory. You want to remove a directory and its contents. All these are what we need to just know, and then we'll work with. Then viewing and editing file, you have the cast, you have left, you have nano, you have VI. Now, nano and VI are editors. You will always need them, especially VI. It comes pre-installed with all Linux. Okay, it's an editor. What do I mean by an editor? An editor is like a notepad that you have in your Microsoft Word notepad. Okay, so we have VI or Vim as your text editor. Okay, Nano is another type of editor. We have a GUI based, that is graphical user interface based editor, which is called gedit. That I will encourage us, let us use VI, the terminal base. The more you use it, the easier it becomes for you to be able to master it. Okay. Then we also have system information that can be seen, display some information, talk to see the running processes, DFA to show the disk space, and then free to display the memory usage in a human readable format, and so on and so forth. Then, if you need to navigate within the Linux directory now, okay, the directory structures are as follows. You have, for instance, forward slash, see my hand, forward slash, okay? For forward slash, that is the top level directory in Linux file system hierarchy. It is just like what you are as my computer, okay? Then every other thing is inside that same top directory, okay? And what you can have there, what you have like /bin, here you have the command, these are the codes. And then you have the etc configuration file, you have the variable data like log, you have user utilities, and the USR, that's user utilities and applications. Then you have temporary file. So these are what you have. Then you have the home too, also in this main directory. This home, you have it there too, okay? And so a path could be like /home/user, okay? Meaning on this home, I have a user by this username called user. So you can see whatever is available in that place. These are some of the things we also see as we go on. Then navigation, we have talked about CD and the rest of them. The managing files, we have talked about what we have talked about RM, MK directory. We have talked about all this just for the purpose of empathy. Okay. So now let's talk about Quantum Mobile. Let's talk about Quantum Mobile. I need to be as fast as we could so that we can quickly go to the hands-on. I'm almost done. Now, what is Quantum Mobile? I've talked about the virtual machine. So the virtual machines, we have two types. We have the one that runs on the hardware directly, which is type 1, and we have the one that runs on the OS directly, which is type 2. Okay? Now, those virtual machines are not the operating system. Please get it clear. Okay? I repeat, those virtual machines are just to create the environment for you to be able to now create the operating system. Okay? A single virtual machine can give you opportunity to create as many operating systems as possible. Okay? So, Quantum Mobile, what is it? It's actually a virtual machine OS that is specifically targeted towards computational material science. It comes with a lot of code, which includes Arbini, you have the Clear, you have the AI IDEA, you have the Yambo, you have Quantum Espresso, which is our interest, you have Siesta, and all these codes are already pre-installed in what is called Quantum Mobile. You can see the link to know more about Quantum Mobile below. You can actually access the link and see what is available there. Now, the beauty of Quantum Mobile is that it has a lot of pre-built images of different OS, okay? It can also be deployed on so many OS as well. You can have it deployed on Linux, you can have it deployed on Mac, you can have it deployed on Windows, which is actually our focus that's I've left here. And then we'll be using VirtualBox to actually deploy it. So quantum mobile cannot work except you have the running virtual box, okay, which I believe some of us might have installed. And it can also be deployed even in the cloud. For instance, maybe you subscribe to Amazon Cloud. You can deploy your virtual machine there, meaning you can also be doing your simulation online. Maybe TechFund NRF is out now. Some of us, when we are developing a proposal, for those of us whose institutions are maybe eligible, you can look at how you can deploy quantum mobile for an online application. Okay, for instance, you can deploy it online on Amazon Cloud for you to be able to actually run your simulation online. That's also possible. It's not a difficult thing to achieve. Okay, and I believe TechFund can provide such funding to be able to achieve such a research feat. Okay, simulation code pre-installed include all these ones that I've mentioned. You have the Jupyter. Jupyter is Python. It's a Python environment where you can run Python code. Okay, and then several tools are also pre-installed like Screen, Jumbo, and the rest of them. You have so many of these tools installed for you to actually do your work. So rather than for you to be working with just a plain Ubuntu system and then be struggling to be compiling and installing several software and tools, Quantum Mobile has actually addressed that, and then you can actually achieve that without any form of stress. Okay. Now, this is an interface of what it looks like. Okay. This is just a GIF image. You can see the release notes, and this is the way it works. Okay. And then Quantum Mobile has actually been used for several training and schools. And the link is also provided for you to access some of the material for that school. You have so many of them as far back as 2018, 2019. You have a lot of schools that are being helped using this Quantum Mobile. So it's actually a very wonderful tool that you can actually get support for and then use to enhance your research. Okay, so on that note, I think I want to quickly give us a break. And then during the break, Dr. Rita will play a video for us. Then we'll now go back to the answer, the download, and then all this, I believe, we can actually go ahead. So you can also prepare your questions. Software will take that after the hands-on experience. Hands-on, we can actually interact more in the course of doing that. Okay, so Dr. Rita.
Prof, thank you very much for the beautiful presentation. I'm sure we have questions. Some of our questions have been dropped on the chat. So there's a lot to do with our virtual environment. So we move on briefly to the next part of this webinar.
Mommy, are you working?
So we'll be playing a video. Please take a listen. And if you have questions regarding it, you can also direct it to the prof. He's available to answer them.
So PhET is a collection of over 100 interactive simulations for teaching and learning science. They're all free on the web. You can run them online or you can download them to your computer. We have simulations in physics and chemistry and a growing number in earth science, biology, and math. One of the main goals of PhET is to provide students with an open exploratory environment where they can really engage with the science content like a scientist.
I love the PhET simulations. I find that they're really fun even for me to play with.
Before it was all on a page, and now you could actually see it. You see what's going on when you connect, two wires and a battery, and you see the flow of each electron and how electrons affected by resistance, and you see everything. That's what I love about it.
One way that I use simulations is I ask clicker questions around them to really focus what students are thinking about and trying to process. Sometimes I'm using it as a demonstration, as a really effective way to describe a dynamic system to the students.
I've used Sims in homeworks. I have used the Sims in tutorials where they play basically the role of some experimental equipment.
Without having to make a mess, so I don't have to like take ice and melt it and do all that, we can look, first you see it as a solid, you know, and you see the temperature, and then you can turn it into a liquid, and you can observe the difference on a micro level that matches pretty well what they see at the macro level.
She'd show them to us in class and we'd play with them on our own, and it just gave us a chance to, you know, see how everything worked.
One of the unique things about PhET is that it's research-based. Both in its design of the simulations, we draw from research across different areas.
They spend a lot of time testing, beta testing, and revising with students. And there's no substitute for that.
I'm very visual. I always picture the molecules bouncing around in that, and that's really how I think about what's happening in a system. So I find that PhETs match very well with the way I visualize what's happening in the system. I can show them what's in my head.
In a real circuit, they can only infer that electrons are flowing through wires by the brightness of the bulbs, but in the PhET sims, they can see the electrons.
One of the things that PhET allows that other things don't allow is when something spontaneously comes up in class and I can say, let's test it.
What happens when I put a light bulb or a battery in here? What happens when I put a pencil into this circuit?
We make the simulations highly interactive so that when students move a slider or create a different setting, they get immediate feedback as to the effect of making that change.
That is a really powerful way to learn. You learn what's important and what's not important.
We developed this saying in Physics 3, let's PhET it out. Like, some of us would disagree, and like we were like, well, let's just check the PhET.
Simulations allow you to go beyond what you can do in real life quickly.
Using computer simulations, we can slow down time. We can dive inside an atom.
I think PhET definitely provides real-world examples, things that in the classroom you can't see or get your hands on at all.
If we change planets or gravitational fields or time or the number of coils on a wire and see immediately what the impact of these are.
We really want to make things intuitive enough in terms of user interface so that when students sit down, they don't really need instructions in order to know how to use the simulation.
And when students use a PhET simulation, they're focused on the physics, not how do I run this simulation. That's all been made very simple.
It takes you about a minute or two to sit down and figure out all that it can do and actually start learning from it.
I've never heard a student give me negative feedback about a PhET sim.
They're a lot of fun, you know, whether it's, you know, shooting pianos out of cannons or doing quantum mechanics tunneling.
It gets you interested in it, and then once you're interested in it, it's really easy to learn it and just want to actually do it and explore it.
One of our main goals is to educate the world. So we give away all of our simulations for free, and we provide tools for translators across the world to translate the simulations.
The impact of the PhET applets right now is worldwide, which is a remarkable thing.
I think we're enabling a lot more people to learn physics and chemistry and biology in a way that will stick in their minds, and hopefully they'll have these creative visualizations in their minds that will enable them to do great things.
As a future teacher, I don't see how somebody could pass up a great tool like this.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm sure we got a little thing, some things about PhET. Like I said when we started that, I got introduced to PhET by Professor Olayinka, and it's been wonderful. There are so many things you can do with PhET. It makes the class really interesting. One of the professor mentioned that he has never seen a student that comes back to say that the class was boring. It's actually superb. If you are not using PhET, I think you should start considering it. I give you some typical examples. When you want to teach students about the model of an atom, backscattering, you're like, how do I visualize this to my students? PhET makes it really easy. If you want to teach about the mechanical properties, the elastic constants of materials, I'm telling you, you can actually do simulations and you can get this parabola from which you can get the elastic constant. PhET is super, super nice. And I appreciate Professor Olayinka for introducing this to me quite early. Some of you might want to wonder that why are we talking about PhET and why and Linux and everything. PhET is actually, the PhET community is actually one of the sponsors of this webinar. So that's why we have to actually listen to them because they have been very supportive. So we move on quickly to the hands-on section and I hand over to Professor Olayinka. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rita. You are even projecting a effect that I'm doing. Thank you very much for that insight you provided about it. It's actually a wonderful platform that has actually revolutionized how education is being delivered, and it's worth exploring by every one of us. It's not just applicable to physics; it cuts across all STEM subjects. You have science, chemistry, physics, biology, even mathematics. So we find it very, very interesting. So this time around, I want to, I think Dr. Rita, you need to stop sharing so I can go ahead and share now. So this time around, I'm going to share my entire screen with us, okay? Up or yes, if you're seeing it. Okay. Okay. I need to share my screen again. Please, can you see my entire screen? It's very important you see my entire screen. And I need response. Okay, great. Thank you. Now, I'm going to shut down this because this machine is running. I'm going to close it so that I will take it from the, I'm shutting down this machine. It's a virtual machine. So I'm also shutting down this, another virtual machine. Okay, I'm closing it. So power off this machine. Okay. Okay. Then I'll close this as well. Now, let me go to my folder where I've downloaded. You can see this folder, I believe. So in this folder, I have 3 quantum mobile versions that I have downloaded. Okay, the 3 of them are here, and those are the 3 links you have. Okay, you have the theory 2021. This particular one is just containing quantum espresso only. Why this particular official one is the most recent one? It contains several software. Okay, this one is a customized one. This one is the generic one. It contains several software. So I would still encourage you to go for this official one. This 2024. Then we have this one that was also used for another school. It was also purpose built. Okay, and then it's very, very large, close to 10 GB. So I believe if we have internet in our various offices, you can take our time and download them and see the different performance of each and every one of them. The first thing you need to ensure when you want to start virtualization like I mentioned, is first of all, it is better maybe from the onset, go to your BIOS and ensure virtualization is enabled. Okay, I've shown you in the presentation earlier. You go through your, when you're restarting your system, press escape or F9, F10, or F11 as the case may be to access your BIOS. In the BIOS, flip through all the tabs and see a place where virtualization is. Just check it to enable it, then coming back to your, to restart your system, and after saving restart your system, then coming back to what you have downloaded, then double click the VirtualBox you have downloaded and install. In my own case, I have it installed. So installation of VirtualBox does not require any special thing. The only caveat there is this. So asking me if I want to install, just click yes and click yes, yes, yes. But in case you're trying to install and you are having difficulty, one of the complaints I got on this new system, I deployed yesterday, is that it was asking me for Microsoft C++ 2019 redistributable installation package. Okay, and so I simply went online, downloaded that one, and installed. Okay, and after install, I came back to come and run it, and I was able to install it successfully. If you have installed Microsoft, I've also shared the link of that on the platform. Okay, I've shared the link to download the Microsoft C++ 2019 distributable. That's because I'm using Windows 2011. I don't know the type of Windows you're using. Okay, so but whichever one you are using, there are basic requirements that have to be met. I talked about going to the BIOS to ensure that you are able to enable virtualization. Then thereafter try to do this installation. You might also need to update your system, your operating system, if you see a difficulty even after installing the Microsoft C++ distributable. And so it's just a matter of clicking next. I don't, because I already have contacted me for repair. But in your own case, you should just go through and we'll be able to install. Okay, so I need to cancel these things I've already installed on this system. Okay, I want to exit it. So installation is done. Then the next thing is to, from your start menu, then launch your VirtualBox. Okay, the Oracle VM VirtualBox application. Just click it and open. And so it comes up. Okay, it's open. Now, while you are having this tool here, okay, while you are having this 2021 and then a Quantum by 24.0, is because I had already imported this tool into this my virtual machine. Okay, and how did I do it? So I'm going to go through the process of importing the third one now for you to see, so that you know how to go. It is very simple. It's as easy as ABC. Come to this tool here, this tool, the topmost tool here. Click it. Then after clicking, just simply click import. Then you have a dialog box that comes up. And from the dialog box, just go to File and select what you have downloaded. In my own case, I have it saved here. Okay, I have the three of them here. I've already imported it. Okay, now let me also mention this. Before you import, ensure you check to be sure you have enough space in your computer. Okay, in my own case now, I have my drive, which is the default drive, and I have 187 gigs of space free, gigabytes of space free. Okay, so meaning I have enough space to be able to accommodate it. So in case you don't have enough space, you might need to delete some videos, some files that you're not using in order to be able to import it successfully. And so I will click this one that I've not imported before, and I will simply click open. Then it's already selected here. The next thing is to do what? Is to just click next. And you can leave all this as default since you are not an expert. When you become an expert, you can begin to toggle with it. It's telling me CPU is 2. This computer has just 2 processors. It's a costly system. Okay, there's no way I can have 4 there. Okay, then the RAM, I have 8 gig RAM, that is giving me 1.5 to be used for virtual. You can adjust this even later after importing it. So by default, just leave it and import and click finish. And so the rightmost part of my screen, I believe you can see the importing 1% done. So this might take some time, okay? And so we may not wait for the 2%. So this might take some time. And I believe some of you are also trying out that. In your own case, I would advise you try to import QE 2021 instead. It's smaller, and I think we can work with that one for now. Okay? So, how many persons are doing that? So you can unmute yourself and speak at this stage, so that let's be sure people actually find this answer. You can unmute yourself and speak after speaking, then you can unmute yourself back. Okay? So we have QE 2021. You can import that in your own system. So my own importing is going 6% done, so we need to wait for it to be done.
Prof, sir, while we are waiting, there's a question, and it says that we to install the 3 versions of the quantum mobile.
No. To install the 3 is a personal choice, but I think 1 is okay for the start, and you can just stay with the one that is the lowest side. QE 2021 is okay for now. So maybe after you have learned with that, then you can now decide to go for the latest version and then the latest of it. Okay? I think the basic thing that are needed is available in the 2021 for now. And the 2021 is even more robust in the sense that it comes with a lot of tutorials. Remember I said it was actually used for a school. So you have all the tutorials, all the materials for that school in that particular variant. Okay?
Thank you, Prof. So there's also a question that says that the person is using a Linux system currently and needs to know if he or she needs to install Quantum Mobile on it.
Okay. For you to actually use Quantum Mobile, you also need to go and download the virtual. Now, what we have downloaded and used here is what we have downloaded and used here is virtual box for Windows. If you go to their page, you will see the Linux version that you can also install your Linux, and then from there you can also import your Quantum Mobile the same way. Is that okay?
I think
that
that's
okay
fine. But if there are more questions, you can always drop it on the chat.
So my computer.
So while we are waiting for, okay.
That importation I'm doing is swallowing up my computer.
It takes a while.
No, I can't even. The computer is not responding at the moment now.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Okay. Someone said that I didn't get how you install VirtualBox.
Okay. We can quickly go.
I think Professor Lainka's network is slightly unstable at the moment. But what I can just add to what he has said is, why do we even need the virtual box or the quantum mobile? It's because a number of us work with Windows at our offices, and we don't want to be having 2 computers or having to partition our computers. So if you have like the virtual box, the virtual environment, you can actually import Quantum Mobile, and then you get to work with all the codes, computational codes that are available. And another advantage is that you don't have to, there are always challenges when you compile some of these codes. So, but with the Quantum Mobile, you don't have such challenges because everything is like all the packages, you have them in one file. You just need to import it. And another advantage is that if peradventure something happens to your computer, you can actually copy the oval file and you can use it on any other machine that has what a virtual environment. So there are lots of advantages, of using a virtual environment. So we are waiting for Prof. Like he said, before you dive into, trying to import Quantum Mobile, you also need to check the size or the capacity of your system. Yes, because if you don't do that, the system would have issues. It becomes very slow. So you need to check the capacity of your system, the RAM, the space available, and with that, you'll be able to do a lot without needing assistance. And then you can work on you can be working on Linux and at the same time on Windows at the same time without necessarily partitioning your system. I think Prof is back. Prof, please. Okay, I think Prof is also trying to.
Yes, still go ahead, please. Still go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking as a user and someone who learned from a lot of struggle. So I practically understand, what a number of people the challenges that they may encounter. I remember why I was using Ubuntu. I actually had to run from University of Benin. We'll run to, Benson Dausa University to meet with Prof so that he can help us fix our laptop or fix a code. I also remember sending my laptop from Lagos to Benin, Edo State, so that I can get a code compiled because I was having issues. But with Quantum Mobile, all of this has been solved. I've never had to, for years now, I've never had to take my laptop to anyone. Then something that we should also notice that we can't learn everything in one day, but we learn gradually. And don't try to know everything. You can't know everything in one day. The more you use it, you become an expert. Your expertise grows as you use it. So we can start from ls. Ls is just listing, to list what you have in your directory. Copy, to cp means to copy, like to copy something from one file, from one directory or folder to another. MV, which is move, is also almost the same thing, but the difference is that compared to Word, if you do MV, is that you cut a file and you don't have it again in that folder. You have moved it, you cut it and you move it to another folder. So these things are things that we learn in bits. So just open your mind to, you can't get everything all in one day in this webinar, but it's a good introduction because you need to start from somewhere. Sudo app install. Okay. Can I just take this last one and I hand over to someone? Is asking, is there a shortcut for installation of Quantum Mobile on Quantum Espresso? I think I can answer that. Quantum Espresso is in Quantum Mobile. You don't need to install Quantum Espresso again because you already have it in Quantum Mobile. But you can have several versions of Quantum Espresso in your Quantum Mobile. So if you think the version of Quantum Espresso in your Quantum Mobile does not match your particular need, you can also, compile more versions, higher versions, but it's already pre-installed on Quantum Mobile. I hand over now to Prof.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rita. Let me quickly report that the system I was using just developed a blue screen. I don't know if some of us are familiar with what is called blue screen. Blue screen is the computer just crashed because of that importing of file. And that's one of the challenges you may have with Windows, especially when the resources in the computer are not enough. Remember, for the small system I'm using, I've had course of importing to Quantum Mobile. I was trying to import the third one. And so in the course of that, when the computer just crashed, I've switched to another system now. Why I didn't use this other one before? Why I didn't use this one before was because this particular one does not have camera, so I may not be able to share my screen going forward. That's just the only setback on this. But beside that, I will be able to also demonstrate everything I was demonstrating on this other system. And so you need to check your system capacity before you begin to load it with so many things. You might also need to uninstall maybe the software that you don't need. You might also need to even upgrade your system before you are able to do some of these things we're talking about. And more importantly, going forward, we also encourage some of us to see how we can have access to cloud computing. I mean a supercomputer, so that we can just do the preliminary preparation of our input on our system and then submit it for cloud resources and probably just do analysis and plotting on our local system. These are some of the opportunities that are available for us to be able to explore. So very quickly, I haven't been able to import it. So I will share my screen again with you now so that you can see what I have here. You can see this. So I will simply open, okay, let me just open this 24, which is the latest one, and I will just show you something very quickly there, okay? If I click on it, it will open, but it's already opened here. So I may not need to just go through the process of opening it again, for better stay. Hope I'm still audible.
Yes, sir. Very clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll quickly power up this and then I will restart it. Power up the machine. Okay. So none of the machine is running now. So I'm just going to quickly run this. So then I'll click start. I haven't selected the one I want to run. I will simply click start. Okay. And on clicking start, I have it opening. So I'm starting that 25. I will just show us a few things there. Okay, so the system is ready. Now take note of this. The password for the default version you download from the Quantum mobile website is Moritz. Is that okay? The username is Max and the password is Moritz. Okay, so take note of that one in case you need to do any administrative job and password is required. Okay, so now let's quickly check what is available here. You have the README file. Let's open the README file first. Opening the README file so you can see the codes that are installed. Okay, I have my Quantum Espresso installed. I have Abinit, and all these code, you can actually access all of them. Okay, you can work on AIID here. You can see the location of your bin files and the rest of them. If you need to run multiple, run a parallel calculation, you can use MPI run and define the number of processor that you want to deploy, which is 2 in this case. Okay, that is about the README. Let's check the release notes. In the release notes, you have how you can access all this. Okay, you have how you can access all of this. So you have a number of them. Now, why this is different from the other one is this. If on this terminal, for instance, I believe you can see this terminal. If I type, maybe let's assume I want to check if the plain wave code of Quantum Espresso is available here, and I type this and I press enter. It's telling me the code is not found. Why? Because in the case of this particular version, all of these different codes are prepared and placed in different Conda environments. Okay? Conda environment is an environment that is created for you to actually also run a particular code in a segmented area without interference with another code. So in order to be able to access that particular Quantum Espresso, in this case now, let me open this again so I'll show you. Where is my espresso in this place? What does it look like? Espresso, so that you don't think I'm just, look at it. You can see it here. So Quantum Espresso is located where? In the Conda environment named Q Espresso. Q Espresso. So if I want to go ahead and open that environment, what do? I will simply type Conda activate. I will simply type Conda activate. That is, I want to activate the Conda environment named Q Espresso. Okay. And once I'm able to press that, you can see it has come to this side now. And I have Quantum Espresso instead of the base where I was before. Okay. And if I type the same code I typed earlier, PWS, you can see I have the code. It's just waiting for my inputs. I'm not actually running any code now. Okay. So let me also exit this. Then some of the code we're talking about, I can print my working directory. You can see where I am. I am inside home max /home/max. That is my current working directory where I am. I can make a directory here, mkdir, that is, I want to create a new folder like I mentioned earlier, and I want to call it C2S webinar. So that is the name of the directory I'm creating. So if I list the content of this directory again now. No, sorry. Okay, if I list the content of this directory, you can see I now have C2S webinar as a folder here now. I don't know if we are together. And so that is how you can just make use of the code. Okay. Then you can copy, you can do whatever you want to do based on whatever you want to do. Then in this particular installation, you may not have those examples that you can use to play with like you have in the other ones. I've not really been able to locate it in this particular one, in this particular version. And so on that note, I want us to go and open that 2021, which I believe can actually be a starting point for majority of us, especially those who are starting for the first time. I just there to show us, and if I need to just go out of this, I just simply have to deactivate the, I just have to type deactivate. Look at what is going to happen. Deactivate. That is, I want to deactivate the Quantum Espresso Conda environment I just activated earlier. And then deactivate. Okay, it should be Conda deactivate. Conda deactivate. So I'm back. Is that okay? I don't need to put the name. Earlier, while I was going to the environment, I put Conda activate Quantum Espresso. But when I want to deactivate, I simply type cone that deactivates, and then I'm back to the base. So if I try to press this code again here now, the code is not available again on the same terminal. So please get to understand, in case you need to work with this higher version, you need to be able to know how it is installed by reading the release notes. And I believe that will help us a lot. So on that note, I want to close this particular one, and let's dwell a little more on the 2021 very briefly before we begin to wind down this workshop. So I'm launching this one as usual. I've selected it, and I come to this place, and I'll start it. So you also see it loading and coming up in the next few moments. While we are waiting for it to come up, please, can those of us who have opportunity on our camera, let's have a picture. Let's have a picture of this event. So please, just on your camera if you can, or display your image so that let's have a picture to show the memory of this inaugural webinar. We appreciate every one of you. Please, those of us who can own a camera, please let's do so that let's have a group photograph. Please, on your camera, if you can, we would like to have a group photograph.
Prof, do you think you can stop
Dr.
sharing
Rita,
so that we can have a full view?
Okay. That's all right. Okay. Then you can also capture from your side too.
Yeah.
Please, if you can, please, we are still waiting for some other persons to just look for a background where you are. I know some of us might not be in a place where we want to, but if you can give us some, even if it's just your face, it's good to have this kind of memory.
My daughter is present, so she has to be captured, please, Prof.
Yes, please let her show. Of course. We recognize that very well. Okay, I'm taking it. Get ready. Are there people that want us to wait for them? Okay, one more time. Okay, God bless you. So let's get back. I believe that platform should be ready now. Okay, now I have the platform. I need to supply username and password. Can anybody remind me of the username and password for QE 2021? I mentioned it in the course of the lecture. Because even after importing it, if you didn't remember the password and username, you won't be able to use it. So can somebody remind me what's a username?
Username Max.
Yourself. You said the username is Max.
Username is not Max for this QE 2021. For the generic one you download from the website, the 2024 version, the username is Max and the password is Moritz. You will always find that information on their website. But for this particular one, I shared the password earlier and the username.
It is
Anybody?
user,
thank you.
then
And the password is what?
QE 2021.
QE 2021, small letter. Okay?
Yes.
And so we can then log in. So I've been able to log in. You can see this particular one is custom designed for a Quantum Espresso school. And you can see day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, up to day 10 of that school. You have folders for different activity of that school. So you can place yourself on a 10-day personal learning and see how you can actually leverage on this starting from day 1. Okay? And so assessing this so we can actually launch our terminal and begin to do whatever we want to do in this place. Okay? So I can launch my terminal. Usually use shortcuts. Control-Alt-T. Control-Alt-T. We open terminal for you. Control plus alternate key plus T. We open terminal for you. Okay, and that's what I've used to open the terminal here now. I think the terminal is also up here. Okay, you can see it up there. So you can also open it from up here. You have your editor up here. You can click here to see all the applications that are installed. You have the scripts, then you have G periodic. So you already have just what is needed installed on this. Okay, the programming you have all this. So these are the things you have installed in this particular one. Okay, so the same thing we're doing with the terminal earlier, we can also do here. So if I type pw.x in this case, what do I see? So I have version 6.7 of Quantum Espresso installed on this particular system. But we have version up to 7.3 now. It doesn't mean you cannot install it on this platform. So you can actually download the latest version and install it on this particular environment too. Is that okay? It doesn't mean because you need versions 7.3 or 7.2, is that okay? That you have to go and download an entire Quantum mobile system. No, you don't have to do that. You can install any version on this particular one and still be working with it. That's the beauty of it. As long as you remember that username and password, you can actually install any application you want to install on this particular system. Okay, and so this one is ready for use. So let's quickly go to day one of this workshop and see what is there. Now, day one of the workshop, you have a PDF, you have a README file. Let's open the README file and see what we have as information. Okay, so the topic of today's #1 hands-on session, installation and compilation of Quantum Espresso, SCF plus basic post-processing. Then you have scripts, then PWG UI, QE Mac modes. All these are things that you can do step by step. Okay, look at it. You can just follow all these. Exercise 0, compile Quantum Espresso sources. Are we together? You can just copy this and paste it in your terminal to follow step by step of what is being done here. But meanwhile, please remember, you have the PowerPoint or the presentation that gives you full explanation of what is expected of you and the theoretical background of what you are to do. Okay, so going through this line by line, are you getting me now? Can give you a leverage on what you are about to do. Okay, the PWG, of course, is good, you know it, but these days I believe some of us are not using it to prepare our inputs. It is better you understand how you can prepare the input, which I believe is some of the things that we'll be handling in our next webinar, talking about how you can start from the scratch. You want to study a particular material. How do you begin? I believe in the next one, we will be able to take it from that scratch. Okay, so that you can go through all these slides and then see what you can actually bring out of it. And if you have any question, I've already shared a link where we can join our WhatsApp group. Okay, so let's share our thoughts and our concerns, and I believe support will be provided. Remember, in our statistics, we have over 50% who have used this platform. So it's not just about Dr. Rita or Professor Layinka, okay? It's about all of us. And I believe majority of those who are here, professors, senior academics who are here, I believe they will be willing to actually provide support and mentorship. It's just for us to actually present what are the challenges we are facing, okay? So these are some of the things that I believe you can actually play with and work with in the course of our personal exploration of this. So, and I think on these notes, we are just 8 minutes behind 12 noon. I wouldn't want to take our time beyond this. I believe we've been able to explore basically how we can actually install Quantum Espresso. Sorry, how we can actually install Quantum Mobile on a virtual machine and get it running. I want to encourage every one of us. Let's take it up from there. And I believe we can actually achieve more as we work together as a team in computational research work. Thank you for your attention. I would love to share this. I would love to always recognize people who have supported me at every point in time in the course of my academic and research endeavors. You have their logos and their icon on the page. I've had course of interacting and then relating with all of these establishments over the years, and they have provided support in different ways. Okay, so I cannot afford to mention them. Each time I have the opportunity of recognizing people who have contributed to my academic growth. Thank you very much for your attention. And I want to ask if there are questions, maybe one or two we may be able to take before we call it a day. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof, for the delivery of this lecture. It's been really insightful. Even for me, that's kind of used to quantum mobile. The new version of quantum mobile is actually different. So you have to use Conda to activate even your tools that can help you visualize. Yes, so it's quite different. So the learning, it's actually progressive. We don't stop learning. Thank you so much, sir. So let's have questions. Questions, please. Are there questions?
You can unmute yourself to ask questions this time around.
Yes.
You can unmute yourself to speak. Questions, comments, and
okay, while we're waiting for people to make contributions, comments, and questions, I just
maybe
want
some
to
of our senior
ask.
professors who are on the platform.
Okay, please. We have professors and they want to say something, please. It's a good time.
And while that is going on, please, let's type our names and our phone number as well as our affiliation on the chat so that we can update our record about your contacts, your name, then your phone number and your affiliation. Like I mentioned earlier, we have also pasted the link to join our WhatsApp group for effective communication on the chat. Yes. Questions, comments, or reaction? Let's get some feedback. Let's get some feedback from you. Okay. So if we don't have any feedback, maybe the assumption. Okay, I think somebody's trying to speak. Just unmute yourself and speak. Tell us if you have been able to learn anything. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, what I really want to say, I think while your system was not responding properly, Dr. Rita made let's say she answered the question. My question was that, assuming you are working on your system and suddenly your system goes bad, how do you recover all the data from your VM?
Okay. Now, the system went bad.
Yes.
And you need to recover data from your virtual machine. Now, which part of the system went bad? Let me first of all ask.
The OS.
The main OS.
Yes.
Okay. If it's the main OS that failed, the same way you recover, once you recover all the data, once you recover all the data, if you're able to recover all the data, are you getting me now? You will be able to also recover the information stored in your virtual machine. If you're able to recover everything, because you know the way the virtualization is done is this: you have the OS. Are you getting me now? Then you have a layer on top of it. It is on that layer that is stored, and it's just a portion on your hard disk. Are you getting me now? It's just that you cannot access. It's just like having a window partition now. you know, you can't easily access window partition on your, you can't easily access Linux partition on your Windows, except to install something like Linux Reader, okay? So we have tools that you can also install to be able to access the storage, the virtual storage. I may not be able to mention a particular one now, but definitely we have tools that you can use to recover files saved in virtual storage. Yes.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. Yes. Any other comments? Any other person? Okay. In the absence
Prof,
of okay, go ahead,
sorry.
please.
I just want to ask on behalf of some of people here, why did
Okay.
you choose this particular school for display for this webinar?
This particular school, the version of
The version, yes.
There was no particular reason. The only reason is because he's lightweight. Are you getting me now? I know data cost can be very uninteresting sometimes. Are you getting me now? So I just look at it from that perspective. But definitely, I would prefer personally to use the latest. Are you getting me now? Personally, I would prefer to use the latest. But again, what you have in the latest version does not contain the tutorials you have in that place. So they all have their different purposes. You understand it now? The generic version, the one of 6 point something gig, does not come with any of the school material. Is that okay? But the Key 2021 comes with preloaded material for a quantum espresso school organized in 2021. So that gives us an edge, okay? But for me, if I must use the latest one, I can copy the content of the school and then I transfer it to any latest one I want to use. And you know, the beauty of this is that you can actually copy you can have as many, if your stem is a strong one, because like this stem I'm using now, I have 3 running and it has not crashed. But the other system I was using, the third one was the one I was trying to install when the stem crashed, okay? So that one is just by the way now. Now with that, so if you have a stem that is strong enough, that is good enough, are you getting me? You can have the 3, copy the content from here and take it there. The beauty of it is that while you are not running it, it's not using any of your computer resources. I don't know if you get it. While the virtual OS is not being run, your computer resources is not being used at all. It's just the hard disk space that is just occupied. And so there's no harm in you having it. And then, but for me, I would prefer to use the latest one because definitely a lot of bugs must have been fixed in the latest versions. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. There's somebody raising hands, yes.
Wait.
Okay. Professor Thomas Daniel.
Okay, good day, Prof. I'm not
Yes,
professor
sir.
yet, I'm just a doctor.
You are one by you are one in making.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
welcome, sir.
Good day, dear colleagues. Thank you for the webinar so far. Please, I just have a few questions that I need clarification.
Okay, sir.
One, the visual box, you know, I asked something, a question which you answer. The essence
Yes,
of
sir.
installing the virtual box, is it
Yes.
for us to be able to create a system where we can partition our windows to work on both Linux and on Windows?
Okay, no, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
If you partition your system and you have maybe dual boot system, the implication of that is that you cannot use the 2 OS simultaneously. You can only use one at a time. You will need to shut down your Windows before you can access Linux. That is the disadvantage of partitioning a system. Are you getting me now? But
Yes,
if
sir.
you have a virtual box, while your window is running, you can still run 2 other operating systems. It's just a matter of minimizing, like I was doing, just minimize and maximize. I don't know if you get it now.
Sir.
The system you are
Prof.
looking. Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry, Prof. I don't know if, you know, because there is something I install on my Windows. They call it Windows subsystem.
Yeah,
So with the
Windows subsystem, yes, I mentioned it. Yeah.
Okay.
Windows subsystem is also another way of you installing a virtual system. I mentioned Microsoft Hyper-V. Microsoft Hyper-V. Microsoft Hyper-V is the one that gives opportunity for WSL, Window Subsystem
Yes,
Linux.
subsystem.
Are you getting
Yes,
me
sir.
now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
that one also works if you're able to install it. But that
Yes,
one
sir.
is different from Quantum Mobile. You know why?
No,
Quantum
sir.
Mobile is a combination of Linux operating system as well as computational tools, plenty of them, including Quantum Espresso, Arbinit, and the rest of them. So
Okay,
if you
sir.
are the one who is working with Windows subsystem Linux, you will need to now begin to compile your Quantum Express on that, your sub Linux. You will need to also compile Express, then compile all the codes that you need, because that won't just come as a plain Quantum Linux operating system.
Yes, sir.
So that is the difference, sir.
Okay, so in that case, I still have to install the Visual Box before going ahead to install the Quantum Mobile.
Is the best way to go. Yes, is the best way to go. Like
Okay, sir.
Dr. Rita mentioned,
Yes, sir.
installing Quantum Espresso can be very, very, very demanding because
sir.
it has a lot of dependency. You will say you want to compile it to just tell you error, and you are confused at a point in time. You don't know what to do. So that problem has been solved by this Quantum Mobile, which gives you portability of just importing, and then the system is running for you.
Okay, sir. Then secondly, sir, I have a second system that I run Linux on it via Ubuntu. So like that one now that I have, will I, on that one, do I still need a Visual Box, or I'll just go ahead and install a Quantum Mobile on it?
No, you still need a virtual box.
Okay, that's
Quantum
the one you say I
Mobile
should get.
works on VirtualBox. So if you want to download VirtualBox now, you will now need to download a Linux version for that particular system. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Then, Prof, the last question I want to ask is, so when you install this, you get the Visual Box, you also install the Quantum Mobile. Anytime you want to access it, you have to have internet access to access it to be able to load
No,
your
sir.
job.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
It's running on your local system. The only time you will
Okay.
need internet is if you are going to SSH to maybe a remote system to submit your job for online processing on the supercomputer. Beside that one, you can run your calculation locally.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Because why I asked is I once used a visual machine at University of Mauritius. So
Okay,
that
sir.
one, you load the work online. You have to access the internet via internet to be able to load
that
it.
is that what you are accessing is a supercomputer.
Okay.
That we have to SSH. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
SSH
Yes,
your
sir.
username
Yes.
and the host of the computer.
Yes.
It's a supercomputer
Yes, sir.
that you are just giving an access to a small portion of it to do your calculation. Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
It's a
So, thank
pity
you,
we
Prof.
don't have such. Such things are actually needed in this country for successful computational research.
Yes, I think within Africa is South Africa that I
It's
know
only
they
South
have
Africa.
this
Yes,
thing.
it's only South Africa. Though Rwanda with EIFR, they are also trying to get some resources, and then I think they are not doing so badly today.
And there's this one they call Seagrid, but it's like it's no longer working. I was accessing it before.
Okay. So I think we need to keep exploring how we can assess them, and then how we can also see what we can do. Is that okay? The beauty of it is that if you have access to those systems, the people are giving you access, they need to be able to have result that you're actually working with it, not that you just have the account, you're not using it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
that's true, sir. Then, Prof, lastly, my last question is a request that maybe at some stage in these webinar trainings, as we saw in the schedule, if we can be divided into maybe a group of 3 or 4, where we can be given tasks to begin to work, because in the past I know. Okay, sir.
Definitely,
that will be fine.
Definitely. We'll be having a group work. Yes, definitely we'll do that, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Yes,
Really appreciate all those your questions. They have actually added value to the fact that you are with us. Thank you. I think on these notes, let me appreciate everyone for taking your time to be part of this. Please let it not stop here. I want to encourage us that we should take it beyond where it is now. The opportunity that we have globally are numerous. If we can work together as a team and then harness the strength of one another to actually better ourselves as a group. God bless you, and do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks to our dear moderator for the good job. She has been working behind the scene for so many months to ensure we get to this stage. Dr. Rita, we sincerely
Thank you,
appreciate
Prof.
your efforts. God
Thank you,
bless
Prof.
you. God bless you. So
Thank you, Prof.
everyone, enjoy
Thank
your
you.
weekend. God bless you.
Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.